Let's get this party started. So just a little housekeeping before we get started. We're going to kick this off, and the first 15 minutes I am going to teach this week is going to be about how do you create niche specific content. I feel that we have covered this, but maybe not as specific as it has been needed. So we are going to cover this so that we all are on the same page, and then we are going to dominate with content. This month, we are going to be covering content in a bunch of awesome different ways. We are also going to be theming the day, and so you will be able to, by not only the end of the week, you are going to be able to start having structure, which is going to help you do what I had to force myself to do in the beginning, which is no different from what you need to do today in your business. Make a blog, make a newsletter, know how to turn a newsletter into a blog into a newsletter, an editorial calendar. It's to help you in here be able to be really loud with social media, with your content, and to really learn how to save time, because most of you have 9 to 5s. I'm going to leave out all the blah, 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 but that is our goal. That is my promise. All the other things, if you guys are looking for tech stuff and platforms, if it's stuff like Zoom or any of those other things, please first go to that actual platform and look at the videos. They have huge teams that make those tutorials, and we can help you with hacks and learn how to use them. But I just ask you that first you Google and you check there first, just so we can help you with the stuff that we're really good at and save time in those other areas. So with that being said, let's get down to how you blast content in a way that really doesn't confuse your ideal client and your niche. And then what we're going to do is, of course, get right into questions right after. For those of you who are watching this, these will be what we call your mini teaching. That means for the first 15 minutes, you can listen to nothing else. This will be in the back of rockstar.rachelafeldman.com on the live Q&A page. You're going to go there. This video will be there with the topic right next to it. So you will know it's how do you create content for that week. But also, this is in general. Whenever you are thinking of content, and please write this down, you have to, anytime you are creating anything, my niche is, if you're getting stuck on your niche, if you're overthinking your niche, that's just something you have to table right away. And I really encourage you to drop the perfection. This isn't forever. Your niche can change. If you're wobbling in between 10 niches, you're confusing your people anyway, and you're confusing yourself. So you have to get specific. This time, in times where there is a lot of noise, times where there's uncertainty, and I would say in the last 4 years anyway, the digital market has changed, and it requires you to be extremely specific. Even if you're working in one-on-one and you're doing it in the online space virtually, it requires you to be specific. Your videos, your lives, your list building requires you to be specific, otherwise you won't get hired. And it's maybe something I've been, scared or maybe I was coddling a little, but that is the truth. And the truth is that each one of you can get there. You're just going to have to let go of fear. So write down your niche. Your niche is, you will often hear me say, your pillars. This is the exercise that each one of you should be doing every day. And your pillars are the exercise that's also in the Niche 101 course, which is what we call the Core 4. It's in the back of rockstar.rachelafeldman.com. It's in the Wellness Business course. And that means, what are the 3 to 4 pillars that you continually teach on That doesn't mean it doesn't mean my niche is mindset. So just for example, many of you will say my niche is mindset. It's mindset for what? Let's take Tony Robbins as an example. Mindset to make more money, mindset to have better sex, or you mindset to end emotional eating. Mindset can be part of your pillar, but your niche isn't necessarily the mindset. And that's why even when we say mindset at yourhealthcoachbiz.com, I always say to coaches when you hear me talk to you, mindset so you have what result. So please, when you're thinking about even words like mind, body, spirit, remember each person has a different viewpoint of what that actually means. So in that specific, in the stories, in the micro stories, but even more in your signature process, that's how you got better. That's what you want to teach. So if I were to say my niche is gut, the way that I help people to get better, to end that, you reverse engineer, to end that gut madness, to end these issues, to this autoimmune, all the problems that come with gut, I teach the principles of detox. I teach the mindset of letting go and all of what mindset means. I teach natural solutions, and that embodies essential oils, homeopathy, CBD oil, and everything else in between. And then I have like interests, these interests in other areas, but that doesn't mean that's all over my site. So really get specific and focused. And I know that's the hard part, but if we don't get specific in that part, we constantly just dilute our message. I know it feels like a little scary to do that because we often feel like we're a jack of many trades, but that's where we start to, you can share about things, but you're still always bringing them back to these core things that you teach on. It doesn't mean that you can't have, let me just say, like for the example of gut, doesn't mean I can't teach on, I won't teach, it doesn't mean I can't teach on SIBO because that's like part of gut. Doesn't mean I can't teach on energy, but I'm relating it to gut. I'm relating, even if I'm teaching corporate wellness, I'm relating it to something on gut. Even if it's weight loss, I'm relating that to gut because I said, when you work with me for weight loss, I have a completely different approach because a lot of people kept coming to me for weight loss. And so a big part of also adding to another part of a pillar is that if people continually come to you for this problem, and I would say the biggest problem, and many of us make this in the coaching industry, is we continue to shove a pillar or a niche down people's throats that they don't even see us for. So we're trying to create a business that's not even either works for how people see us. And I said this to a coach the other day, and I'll just share this quick example. She and I are very similar. We wanted, or she wants to teach intuitive eating, and she wants to have people see her as kind of this like very this person who can do sisterhood retreats and the parts of me that's the very energetic kind of coaching and the shadow work and a lot of that deep heart-centered stuff that I do. But that's not how people see me. People know that there's a part of me, but people also see me as that girl that's like, what are you talking about? And that's more of how people see me. So they're like, rage, instead of seeing that really deep part of me that I would say the people that are really close to me see me. The people who work with me one-on-one see that. So I had to let go of that in year 1 and 2. And it wasn't until later did I see that it's not that something was wrong with me, or it's not that I couldn't be that coach. It's just that that's not how people view me. And so I really want you to be honest with yourself. That's a big part about content creation and attracting your ideal client. You may think, and you may be wanting to have content or be pushing freebies or be having a business that works with a certain kind of person, but maybe that's not how people see you. And so one thing that you can do this week as you are creating your content pieces is to reach out to 1 to 3 friends. Take one day and say, I'm going to reach out to one person a day, 3 in total, and say, you know, can I hop on the phone with you for 15 minutes? Something that feels doable, something you can share on Wednesday wins, and say, you know, I did talk to this person, and or even by, you know, Saturday before you're doing your Sunday strategy, and say, you know, I thought that people saw me for this person who did weight loss, or I thought that this person saw me as a fitness person or a hormone person, but they told me, you know, I continue to talk about these topics. So it's really good to get feedback from the people in our life, because it helps us to see maybe where we have been missed. Very similar to the conversation we had last week about Cordula and some of the things she thought she was posting on her Instagram profile. And when I looked, it was actually, I didn't see any of that. So sometimes we think we're posting, which is why I highly encourage you. Yes, we will be doing audits in here, and I will notify everyone when we're doing that. But I encourage you to buddy up with somebody in here and say, can you look at my site? Can you tell me what you think? Because you have amazing marketers in here. Each one of you are digital marketers. So the next part is my content will focus on helping people have the following problems. If your content is not about those 3 to 4 pillars, it shouldn't be posted. You can talk about many subjects. So let me just say this again. You can talk about other subjects, but if you're not relating them back to the pillars, it's just noise. It's just straight up noise. So then you have to say to yourself, no, I messed up, just like during this pandemic. You know, there was probably some things that I posted that were more of a diary, because I was upset and I didn't know that I was as upset. And it doesn't mean I'm going to go and erase it. It's just to look at it and be like, okay. But also it's to understand that sometimes our content is about where we really are, and not to look back at it and delete it, but just to say, okay, it could have been a little more solution based. But also sometimes that's the friend talk, and that's wow, shit is falling apart, and there has to be that balance. And there are these different mediums and these different ways to be relatable. So just remember, people don't just buy because we're saying you should do essential oils. You should take this for your heart. You should do, you know, this. We get sick of that because that's just a teacher, a parent of this, that, and we need to hear the friend. We need to hear, you know, the girlfriend chat. We need to hear that part that makes us, you know, say, wow, this person isn't just teaching. Just make sure I'm on time. So here's a case study from my client, Amy Ramsey. She's epic. She's awesome. I would suggest following her for this week, so you really see her stories. You're only going to learn if you follow someone else. You don't learn by sitting in front of the computer. And many of you also get stuck when you do sit down because the creative brain just shuts off. That's why I encourage you to do simple strategies like jumping on a rebounder, going, okay, what was this? You know, or even moving, tapping, just simple things to get your brain moving. Amy's niche is weight loss. Amy's pillars are fitness and workouts, specifically HIIT training. So if I were doing social media, or she would, you know, if I was working on her social media with her, I would be specific: home workouts, HIIT training, because we know HIIT training is short, it's 15-minute. Bands, we would get specific in those pillars on what does that look like? What are her home workouts? What are her ab workouts, her booty workouts? Does she have workouts for guys? How can she show up with her husband, which she does? How can she show also her family, because she shows her husband and her on the beach and going for runs, and she also shows her her morals because she shows them paying it forward, not only in her hometown in Texas, but she also has another family home in New Orleans where they do a lot of volunteering. She also works with women who are faith-based. She is a lot about her faith, her mindset, and that's a big part of her pillars. And she is all about, and she will even tell you, it's not paleo, it's not this, it's clean eating, deprivation free. And you will see that from her pictures. So repetition. Too often we don't do enough repetition. And so we lose people. We are not clear enough. If somebody comes, and I know we're looking at Instagram, and the only reason I talk about Instagram a lot doesn't mean that you need to be on Instagram, doesn't mean that you need to be on one specific platform. I love Instagram because it gives you a bird's eye view of 9 squares, 9 stories. It's a museum. And that's what's really beautiful about Instagram is it shows a story visually. And that's why I always say, think of your life in 9 slides. And that's why I always say, if you look at the social media guide that is in rockstar.rachafeldman.com and you log in and you go to content box and you click, and then you go onto the dashboard, not onto the meal plan, but right into the main dashboard, and you go to the bonus page, you will see the social media guide. That social media guide has, as you're going through, not only template verbiage, but it tells you the types of stories, the behind the scenes, the what it looks like, the transformations, the case studies. You will see exactly laid out here. It even talks about like getting really clear and understanding where your platforms, shows you where to find free photos. Plus it even shows you, as I always say, that 30 grid, that 30-day grid. What is your day? How, with things affected in your life, how does it relate to your pillars? How does your stories or your highlights or your or your lives or your blogs or the images on Pinterest that are recipes or your tips or your social media or a Facebook post or the challenge or the freebies or the content that you post, how does that relate to your niche, to the pillars, which is what you teach? If it doesn't tell a story and relate, that's what is broken. And if you're not using your content to test it and planning your week and saying, this week, I'm going to focus on this topic. I'm going to pull down the blogs for May, which are all about at home. I think it's actually how do we handle stress? Because I pulled them down during these unprecedented times. And then the freebie this month is about at-home fitness. Doesn't mean you have to launch this freebie. A lot of you are taking the entire freebie and thinking, well, I didn't even use this. That's content for a live. That's content for a YouTube video. That's content that you could use on a blog. It's content that you could use on a social media content you could use on stories. It's content that you could use anywhere. It's content you can make into a PDF, into a PowerPoint. Content is content. If some of you are new coaches or you are so busy that you need content, there's no reason you shouldn't strategically say, I am going to have 3 blogs this week with recipes. You take a recipe, you pay for the Canva Pro for $12.95 so you can have amazing pictures, and you go picture tip in the 20 template that I gave, you go tip or snack. Oh my God, here's the picture for a snack. You put that on a blog, you share, you can do all that. And that's what we're going to show you this month. We're going to show you all those little hacks to do, because what I want you guys to spend more time doing is getting really comfortable with speaking, really comfortable with pitching, really comfortable to reaching out to be on somebody's podcast, to getting more visible so you get asked to be on summits, to be more comfortable to being interviewed, because that's how you're going to get more visible. So people look at you as an influencer. It doesn't just happen where you move to chapter 12. Even if you have a turnkey funnel or you've paid the best Facebook ad company, you still need to know how to talk. You still need to know how to close. You need to know how to lessen your overwhelm so you can listen and learn how to downsell and upsell. And so what I'm going to do in here is teach you how to start just getting really comfortable using all the stuff that we've given you, the video scripts, everything. But you guys need to plan out and think, what does my niche need? What do I teach? And how can I use the list building 101 package with the breakfast? How can I use it to get people to DM me and PM me, even with a no opt-in? The no opt-in opt-in. So I did that video the other day. I will put it specifically so you can see it. But for today's teaching, you will see that everything you saw brings right to. This is her membership. This is how simple her page is. It's stunning. It's simple. It's to the point, and it's all one cohesive meaning. My niche is gut. Problem. The problems are endless, but I will tell you, there's like some key ones that I will always drill down in one post or one blog, where I'll be like, hey guys, we're going to talk about these 3 problems. It's the same thing that Russell Brunson teaches in .com Secrets. Problem 1, problem 2, problem 3. It's the same layout on a webinar. It's the same layout when I talk, and I've said this over and over in email marketing. It's problem, solution. Problem, mini solution. Hey, yeah, go get this. Here's my tip. And then you have to, when you're thinking about creating content, you're thinking, okay, what is the problem for my niche? How are they being affected by what's going on? How can I, speak to them and really make it relatable and then lead them to a solution? We don't always right hook, which is asking for them to sign up, because then they're like, oh man, they've signed up. So when it's important for them to sign up, they're tired, which is why I always say, don't just ask. Really be intentional. Know what the goal is this month. Are you asking them to a paid offer, or are you just trust building, also known as authority building? It doesn't matter if you're a new coach in here. It doesn't matter if you've been around the block 20,000 times. Content creation is something you will always have to master and continually have to evolve. It's either that you're leading them to a paid offer, or you're authority building. Or it's nurturing, or it's a paid offer. Nurturing, so they trust you, so they naturally reach out, personal message you, stalk you. Because if you get somebody to build trust, they will want to know what you do, and they will start to follow you, and they will start to build trust. And if you have launched, but you're not converting as well, you haven't gotten them to connect. It's real simple. And that is a you issue. And that is one that you just have to keep practicing. Continue to say, what am I not sharing? Have I not nailed down how to say it? So you continue to get people on the phone. You continue to reach out to people and put yourself in uncomfortable situations instead of just sitting in front of your computer. Take a chance. My pillars are 1, 2, 3. I'm going to look, as your homework is this week, 7 social media pieces of content. Because your goal, and I'll get to the homework right now, because your goal is going to be Friday for, if you can, if for those of you, and we're going to all be honest, it's a big H word. We're going to be honest on where we are. Some of you, there might be a little heart attack right now. And you're going to give yourself, as Shay always says to me, a little compassion. You're going to say, I'm a perfectionist. And you're going to buy, where's the pillow? Oh, I'm sitting on it. You're going to buy, or you're going to print this out. Maybe you don't want to buy it, but I've had this from Society 6. This, and you're going to just put that, and you're going to say, ah, or screw perfection if you don't like to use that word. Then put that hashtag, screw perfection. And you're going to say, I'm struggling. And you're going to be honest with us. So we can all say, I'm struggling too. And then you're going to be honest about where the struggle is. Is it that, you know, you want that cover to be perfect? Like, what's really happening? What's really going on? Is it that you don't know what to say? Like, really be honest. Is that you're scared that you're going to mess up? Because it's not that you can't sit for 5, 10, 15 minutes and watch a tutorial or research it. Just be honest on the fear. Secondly is, I know there's a lot in Rockstar. So the second part is come in and just say, I know there's a lot in there. Many of you have not, I'm sure, looked at the About Me template in Website 101. That gives literally the questions to answer. I know, just like we all want a cure in health, it doesn't exist. I wish that it did, because we wouldn't be sick anywhere, but it doesn't exist there, and it doesn't exist in business. And I know, and if you're new here, the thing about my personality is I don't want anyone to suffer. So I have a tendency to try to come in and fix everything, but that's not what business is about. So I am going to make the commitment that I know I can keep in here for all of you, which is that I am going to show you how to dominate as long as you are willing to talk about what's really affecting you, which is, it can be scary to coach. It's scary to put your shit out there. That's scary. So come in and let's, talk about that stuff. And so what we're going to be doing this week is we will be then putting a schedule for what's going to be happening over the month. And that means on Sunday, by Sunday, doesn't mean if you have the whole week for the next Sunday, we're going to prep to get to that. The template that you have, that 20, those are ideas. We're going to put in some ideas that you can talk about. I would love to be able to get everyone to what is called a newsletter a week, a blog a week, like 1 to 3 videos, because building you on YouTube is essential. This is where people intentionally search. It's essential for you guys to have videos there. It's essential in the description for people to come back to your website. People don't just find a blog those days. And it's not that it's a lie of SEO, but I think you would really have to have, I don't even know if I've ever seen people have that amount of SEO unless they have built that as like unbelievable daily blogging and they have advertisers there, which is possible, but that's like Detoxinista back in the day. So I want to make it easier, and that's what we're going to do. So our goal is on Sundays, we are having the content done with our 7 content pieces based on our pillars and what we're going to do for the next week. And that means that we will have a video day that everyone comes in and they're accountable for their video. That can be off a blog, and we're going to show you, like, how could you do this? And everyone's going to be accountable, and it's going to be fun. And we're going to do self-care Saturday because we all are going to share our favorite things. And these are going to give us ideas on what to do. So with that being said, guys, I know this went a little longer, and we're going to open it up with questions, and any questions on how you can use your content, any questions on, all that fun stuff. And I would say for anyone that is struggling with their niche, I have listened to a lot of you guys. I really think the struggle is more that you don't believe in yourself. It's overwhelming. It is overwhelming. But each one of you knew why you wanted to go to school. And the niche is going to come and be more comfortable as you start talking about it, and you just see if that's what people want, because that's the only way. You have to test it, and you have to put yourself out there, and there's really not an easier, softer way, but you do have to get specific.